right, Sunday. Getting ready for another episode of America's first and favorite two-wheel motorcycle talk and entertainment show. And I'm here with Mr. Cargo Clock. He's going to be helping us bring this show to life tonight. Good to see all you guys here. Hope you're having a fantastic holiday. It's killer for us, and we cannot wait to get to the show tonight. But I want to give some shout-outs real quick. Let's see, who do we got? Robin Higginbottom, cross the line first tonight. Bruno Coppola, Laconia, New Hampshire. Behind Rudy's Fairing. Well, Josh Collins in with us. Becky Quivers Arling, happy Sunday evening from Rooster and me in Wisconsin. Good to see you guys here, man. Hey, you are watching Shop Talk, and if I do my job and start the clock, you would know we're just about 3 minutes out from this program going live. Don't go anywhere. We're getting ready for Shop Talk. Behind Rudy's Fairing says he'll be shocked when we're late again. Nope, Heather runs a tight ship here, buddy. I don't know what to say. And now the cargo's running things. So, holidays, man, rocking right along. I can't believe how fast this year went. But it's so much better when there's no echo. I love no echo show. I love it.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And you're chicken.
No.
Ah!
So look, press this button. What's that one do? Cargo found his way to the sound effects. Flake Paint and Designs in the house with us. Cargo's pressing buttons away. We're just 2 minutes out from going live with this one. Don't go anywhere. Shop Talk coming at you. Oh my God, Robin just said, wish everyone a safe and happy New Year. Happy 85th Sturgis Rally coming. 85. I am not ready for 85. Big D checking in. Marengo, Illinois. Hey. We're live now. You got to take it easy on the buttons. Bagger Bader, sup kids? Good to see you here, buddy. 85th anniversary of Sturgis. God, am I getting old? It's killing me.
Oh, man!
Okay.
Son of a biscuit eater.
Bill Stevens in the house tonight. Good to see you here, sir.
Oh, man!
All right, listen. We got to get going on this one. Cargo is not going to wait any longer, so let's get ready and launch this one. We'll get it out of the station and up on the tracks and go live with tonight's episode of Shop Talk. Here we go. Okay, scooter tramps and chopper jockeys all across the land. It is just after 9 p.m. on the East Coast, 8 o'clock here in Mitchell, South Dakota, where we sit high atop Television Hill in the Clockworks campus. And look who I got here right now, Mr. Cargo Clock himself. Let me put your camera on, buddy. You're going to say your line. You ready? Look at that camera. Tell everybody.
We're live in Mitchell, South Dakota. Happy New Year.
Yeah, that's
Nice
my man
job.
right there. Cargo helping run the show tonight. Look at that. You're killing it. He loves them sound effects. Go ahead.
What a great way to kick off the
Oh,
show
this-
You
tonight.
hear that one?
This is my Hot Wheels buddy right here, huh? I'm
How
coming.
much this one, Dad?
I'm coming to your house this week, and we're going to play with the Hot Wheels Big City.
You're coming to our house?
Yep, I am.
You're going to our house tonight?
All right, tell everybody Happy New Year.
Happy New Year!
There you go.
Why are you coming to our house?
So we can play Matchbox.
Or we can either play my Battleship game.
I love Battleship too.
Say bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Okay. Everybody said, good job, Cargo. Look at that. Good job, Cargo.
job,
Great
Cargo.
job. That's my man. That's my little buddy here. Thank you guys for being patient and letting us get that. What a fantastic way to start the show, though, huh?
Cargo has many motorcycles.
He does.
Yes.
Many cool, full-size motorcycles. No Matchbox.
Oh, everybody wants to come and play Hot Wheels.
Robin, I did fix the echo from last week. That's right. Hey, so listen, man, you're watching Shop Talk here on the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio Network. I am Chris Callen with Cycle Source Magazine. I'm going to be your host for the next 90 to 120 minutes of two-wheel bullshit. And God willing, Mark's power is going to come back on because we had him here for a couple minutes. Then all of the lights went out, including the little light that runs his computer. So we're on hold waiting to see if we're going to have Mark. But we do have Heather.
Hey, you don't sound so disappointed.
I'm not disappointed.
Thanks. No, yeah, we were pre-show and Mark was just gone.
Just like
Just gone.
we had his face here for a while, but that's gone too.
We should have kept, he was smiling. We should have kept that one for posterity.
So how was everybody's Christmas? How did you spend the holidays? Did you make it through?
We survived.
We did. Everybody lived.
What was your favorite part about Christmas?
You know what? Amelia was in town, so Killer came into town, and we got to spend time with our daughter, and really just like unplugging. And this was the first year that we didn't really have anything going on. We didn't even get to actual Christmas dinner that night.
I know.
It was a lazy day. It was really good.
Oh, Jason, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry you had a tough holiday. We're sending you our thoughts. It was very chill and relaxing, and I did a lot of baking. Too much eating.
She did a lot of baking, and see these cheeks? This is what's happening.
I can't help it. Mark went, bye, Felicia.
Mark did go, bye, Felicia. Tim Skate's good in Texas. Okay, listen, so we're going to get this one started because we got a lot to get through tonight. This is in place of our typical New Year's Eve show, and we kind of did this on purpose just to get this show out of the way and just let everybody celebrate the holidays without any craziness. Well, without our craziness anyway.
Agree.
So if this is your first time watching, we appreciate you being here. We do this show every Sunday night, 9 p.m. on the East Coast. It goes live, but you can watch it in perpetuity from there on our YouTube page, Cycle Source Magazine or Greasing Gears TV Lite. And we've looking back, we're at episode 297 tonight, and looking back over all of this time, and it's just really, really been cool. Like, we've had some fantastic guests, and we just picked up some new software that's helping us do shorts out of all of those. So we're going to be able to run a lot of our old guests, some of the best quotes that came out of those shows. So stick around for that. But for now, we're going to get this show started. What is Shop Talk? It's just some fun. It's like a magazine that we do live here every week. We do some tech, we do feature bikes, we do everything you would expect, bring on a guest or two, and we start the whole thing off with a segment we call
Done News.
Here we go.
The Shop Talk World Report is brought to you by Law Tigers. Get the compensation you deserve and get back on the road with Law Tigers.
First up in the news tonight, coming in from Power Sports Business, Real Deal Revolution nonprofit celebrates 10th anniversary. Real Deal Revolution has helped hundreds of women, children, and male motorcycle riders learn how to weld, pinstripe, and rebuild their carburetors, this year's biggest motorcycle and automotive events. Real Deal Revolution is powered by skilled and passionate tradeswomen who empower others to break boundaries and achieve extraordinary feats. Good for them.
That's awesome. I love that. Very good. I love when anybody can pass along the knowledge.
We met them at the Harley-Davidson homecoming, right?
Yes, we did. It
120th.
was great.
Yeah. Also in from Power Sports Business this evening, At 25, dealer buys Harley stores in Alaska.
How cool is that?
It's incredible. So,
Like,
go ahead.
I was just going to jump in. I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead.
Rude.
Here, you take it.
So it's really cool. Her dad started the dealerships, and she's just worked in them since she was in her early teens. And she decided to take over the reins. She went to business school, got her master's degree in business in, I think, North Carolina, and went back home and is running with it at just 25 years old. Like, if that doesn't give you hope for the future of motorcycling.
And listen, I got to tell you the truth. You need to, Heather's putting the links up in the comment section. You need to read this story because it's really cool. It's so much more story than just our brief description. Barry Matterson became a dealer as a side hustle, naming his Alaskan business Barry's Custom Cycle. Meeting with Harley-Davidson rep in the early 70s inspired him to purchase a commercial building and take on the franchise. In 75, he relocated his business and became a Harley-Davidson dealer. Back then, we were still living in a trailer house and not making that much money, says Dia Matterson, his daughter. Can you imagine a time? I know this because back in Pennsylvania, I knew dealers that two brothers part-time drove school bus, one tended bar while they were running the dealership together. So we think about Harley-Davidson today, and it's such an empire, right? You know, but it wasn't that long ago. It was only one person ago that it was a struggle.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that she's not only not shutting stores down, but at 25, she has 3 of them.
Absolutely.
In Alaska to boot. Like, that's not a challenge.
This comes in from the American Motorcyclists Association. AMA looks back on its successful 100th anniversary. That was the year of 2024. This year they celebrated their 100 years. Celebrates a century of AMA rights wins, historic racing accomplishments, and camaraderie among riders this holiday season. So we give them a big shout out. As we turn the calendar page, we want to remember this historic achievement by the American Motorcyclists Association.
Love it.
Pretty good, right?
I love it.
You take it from here, Heather. This is your show.
This is my show. This is not my show. I don't run Jack. No, I just think it's great. AMA is so focused on racing. And what did they say? Like, the first motorcycle race was started when the second one was built?
Yeah. It actually started while they were finishing the second one.
While they were finishing the second one?
There was some trash talk there. And I want to bring up something that's in the comment box right now. And if you guys are not aware, this box over here, wherever you're watching from, any of the 15 channels that broadcast Shop Talk, all you have to do is put your comments in there. They will come into that box, and we'll get to them throughout the show. In that box right now, Radar just wants to remind everyone, the folks of Western North Carolina need more help and supplies of cold weather gear. So anybody that can get involved with that, I know a bunch of our guys are down in that area. If you need someone to hook you up with people from that area, we sure can help facilitate that, or just look on social media because everyone's talking about it. The need is still very real. And like we said, the TV cameras disappear, so does a lot of the help. So be part of the solution for that.
That's tough, out of sight, out of mind. And what a shame that area was pretty much annihilated. But thank you, Radar, for bringing that to our attention. And I have to apologize to the folks that were waiting on the other page. I went to try to find it, to take it down, and I couldn't find it. So good on you for finding it, but bad on me for not finding it. But I'm so glad you found us.
We have too many pages now? Is that the thing?
No. Tiger Ward, Chris and Heather, are you guys ready to welcome in the new year?
We are.
We are, but it's crazy that it's already been a whole year. Like, so much has happened in 2024. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
Aw.
Yeah, I think we'll be ready to turn this one down. Put this old dog to bed.
I'm ready.
The year of 2024, or maybe put this old dog down.
No, I'm super excited to see what 2025 has in store. Like, I have a feeling it's going to be one of the best ones yet.
Sean LeBeau's here. Everybody piling in. Hey, listen, speaking of looking at the new year, this is kind of a tradition we do since 2007 in Cycle Source Magazine. We do our best of awards and our year in review issue, which is coming out in just a couple weeks. We're actually finalizing that magazine now. But along with that, we want to take a minute. We want to play a video for you guys that we put together here in the studio that kind of highlights between the magazine and Grease and Gears TV and Shop Talk, and give it a salute while we're getting ready to change the calendar. When we come back on the other side, we have Mr. Kyle Ray Race waiting in the wings, and that's going to be a fantastic guest. So don't go anywhere. You're watching Shop Talk. We're going to take a look at this year in review issue or video, and we'll be right back with you. You're watching Shop Talk.
Paul Yaffe product, huh?
Yeah, man, so excited.
Got a new build?
I do. It's. Aren't you Paul Yaffe?
No, I've never met the guy. But I do know you can get all of his products at DennisKirk.com.
There you go.
Just me? Awesome. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Have a good one.
Listen to Not Paul Yaffe. Get all your Bagger Nation products right now at DennisKirk.com.
I'm Nick Trask, Trask Performance, and you're watching Shop Talk.
Clockworks, where innovation meets style. Clockworks specializes in high-quality windshields, fenders, phone mounts, and other parts designed to enhance your ride, with a commitment to craftsmanship and an eye for detail. Ensure your bike not only rides smoothly, but looks stunning too. Elevate your riding experience today. Shop getclock.com.
All right, man, welcome back to the Dennis Kirk studio. You are watching Shop Talk. We're so glad that you're here with us. It is our pre-New Year's show, getting ready to turn the calendar page, man, and say goodbye to this one. Can you believe, like, when you look at those pictures, it's like, I don't remember doing all that
right?
stuff.
And then on the same token, just by the pictures, it was an incredible year. But then I'm like, I feel like we missed so much in pictures too. Like, we moved 1,100 miles this year.
Oh my God, I know.
Like, that in and of itself was a feat. Just your shop.
Yeah. And half of the shop is still in Pittsburgh.
Not quite half. He's
well,
exaggerating.
The mill is still there and the lathe,
Yeah.
and that hurts
We're
me
gonna
a
put
little bit.
Miracle Grow on the lathe here. I promise.
But hey, here's something crazy to think about. How about a year ago and just a couple months was the official launch of Grease and Gears TV.
Wow,
just,
really?
Just a year ago,
Wow.
right?
No wonder why I have way more grapes.
If you guys are not familiar with the magic I speak of, Grease and Gears TV, not Grease and Gears Garage, dum. Grease and Gears TV. If you like Netflix, you like streaming programs like that, there is now a Netflix for motorcycle people. It's Grease and Gears TV. It's tons of stuff that we do, stuff that other people do. A bunch of your favorite creators will be on here, and you can just watch it until you blow your brains out with motorcycle stuff. But for me, the big win here is the fact that we got a couple honest to God series started this year. Like this Jack Daniels right here is one of our new series called Destinations, and it was one of my favorite things this year. But the Good Turns, the Dragon, Dragon was the Great Roads of America, and that's a series that we're going to start now where it's a little bit History Channel and a little bit motorcycle TV, where we go into an area like the Dragon and we find all the cool history stuff and everything about it too.
Yeah, I think the two that I'm looking forward to the most are Destinations and Great Roads.
Yeah.
I wonder why. Because that means we get to ride motorcycles. I'm so excited.
You would think that I'm so bad that I don't ever take you on a motorcycle ride.
You don't.
How many states have you ridden motorcycles in, Heather?
Like 2.
You are gonna go to hell for lying as well as stealing. You better stop it.
No, but seriously, in all honesty, in recent years, we've been so busy feeding the monster that we haven't had as much seat time as we would like. But having those 2 new series is going to put us in the seat a whole lot more.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I'm very much looking forward to that, even if it means I have to hold the camera. I'm good. I'm totally good with that.
Holding the camera's not bad. You can hold a camera like nobody's business.
Well, especially now that it's not the big camera. Like that 800 miles backwards holding that big ass camera. I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore.
Oh, Radar says great job on Great Road Show. Dig it, man.
Nice.
Judy, your mom picked out a lot of stops.
On the Kank course. Yeah, we're gonna come up to New Hampshire and we're gonna do that this year in June. We're gonna have my sister take us around. Too. She knows a lot of great roads.
Hey, so listen, man, our guest tonight, I can't remember how many years ago I first ran into this cat. I started hearing about him way before we ever saw anything of his, and then I saw one of the most outrageous FXR builds that I've ever seen and got to sit down and talk with him for a little bit at Daytona. Truly one of the most amazing fabricators, young or old, on the scene today. And the man I'm talking about is Mr. Cal Ray Rice. So let's get him on the line.
Just Hanging Out in the Shop is brought to you by Spectro Oils. Made in the USA since 1966, the best oil on planet Earth.
Cal, Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year to you too.
So before we get started, I have to tell you, and I think I've told you this in person before, your FXR, hands down for me, is my favorite FXR of all time. Just it is.
So there she goes.
I appreciate that so much.
First she tells the whole world that Sugar Bear built her favorite chopper ever, and now I don't even get to come in second on FXR, Heather.
Well, no, you can come in second on FXR. Just Kyle's is.
I know.
It's out of the box, but it's still an FXR, and it's just perfect.
Well, and that's what I loved about it, dude. And I told you this when we first met and sat down next to your motorcycle. I love the fact that you just completely shoved convention aside and did your own thing with that. That is so uncommon on that platform, and it was so great to see how you handled that.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to kind of. I wanted it to be one of the better things that I've made, but also still be an FXR.
Right on.
Well, and I have to say, when I first saw it, like up close, it didn't register right away that it was an FXR, but I kept going back to it, and when I realized it, I was like, hot damn, this kid is good. So good.
Oh, she's so
Yeah.
nice.
It's true.
I think a lot of people don't really know it's an FXR still. I mean, it has a little bit of a triangle in the back, but it's a little different.
No, for sure.
So you started on motorcycles like a lot of people that we have on here as a kid on dirt bikes.
Yeah, I'd say it was probably pretty forced on us.
Okay.
My father, he's a gearhead. I mean, he's more of a hot rodder than anything else. But I mean, internal combustion engines is kind of in our blood. So yeah, me and my brother got a PW50 as our first bike, and I mean, that was it.
That was it. That's awesome.
So where did you grow up?
Sarasota, Florida. I'm born and raised, lived here pretty much my entire life. I technically live in Bradenton now, but it's kind of the same city.
So for a lot of us, like if Mark was on here with us tonight, and Mark, buddy, if you're out there and you can hear us, we miss you. Come back, Mark. But for a lot of us, you know, that was as young kids, that was the only way to get to see your buddies, to get around. I mean, transportation. Our first transportation was dirt bikes.
Yeah, my dad, that's actually what I grew up, is my dad telling me stories about when he was a kid riding dirt bikes. I mean, they're from a small town in Illinois, Sparta, Illinois. So I grew up, that was their freedom, is just dirt bikes. And I mean, it's the perfect machine for it too. It can get you anywhere.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the perfect freedom machine.
Now, did you ever do any like motocross or any racing?
Not really. The moment we tried, my best friend at the time broke his arm.
Ooh.
The first time we went out.
Yeah, that's where the line comes from. You're not getting a motorcycle as long as you live in this house.
Well, it was actually something we were pretty young still. I think I was in my teens. I rode dirt bikes my entire life. You know, we would go out in the woods and ride as fast as we could. So it was kind of a why not? So we went to this track out in Tampa, Sunshine MX, I think it was called.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a fun couple hours, but I think reality set in, and my buddy broke his arm and realized how brutal motocross actually is. And they kind of didn't want us to do it after that, but we still rode every weekend. Same thing. It's just tracks can be a little scary.
Yeah. You know the one that always got me every time I went out to the motocross track for practice when we were doing track days was that everybody going in for lunch or to take a break, and I would go, yeah, I'm just going to do one more. And it was historically that lap that I got balled up in the whoops or did some stupid shit trying to hit a double. You never do one more. That's the lesson.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the funny thing. We actually got back riding dirt bikes like earlier this year, and I actually had to get surgery on my wrist.
Oh no.
Broke my scaphoid 15 minutes into the ride.
Oh no.
But yeah, still brutal, but I mean it's my favorite thing. I mean, I would definitely even put it above the street. Riding choppers and whatnot. Dirt bike's my first love. Dirt was always my first love.
Right on. So I know you don't do motorcycles for a living. I know you're a fabricator, and you fabricate some kind of funky things, like something for the Walendas comes to memory. That you
Yeah. Well, that was years ago. We actually
He says
bent
that
a
like
ring.
he's 50.
Yeah, we bent this big ring for them, and then welded like a mouthpiece on it for his wife who hung from like Niagara Falls, and then we did a lot of his balance beams. We haven't done work for him in a long time, but actually the most recent kind of interesting thing we did is the light display at the Freedom Factory. We did the actual arches, the 500 feet of
Oh wow.
lit arches. Yeah, we just finished building those. But yeah, it's a small company, Steelheart in Bradenton, Florida. I'd like to shout them out. Jeremy. But we've done some cool work like that, but it's mostly spiral staircases, railings for a little place, Anna Maria out here. A lot of aluminum.
So now, when you were doing the stuff for the Wallendas, did it make you nervous knowing what they were going to do with it?
Yeah, because I just started there.
I would have been terrified.
Yeah, I just started. I mean, like some of the stuff we did like a practice tightrope for them. So it was like for, I mean, I think for them to practice, but it was also they used it for the news reporter, like guys to show like how hard it is on TV. That wasn't that bad. But I mean, I don't know. You kind of, it's welded. I don't think it's gonna break there. We're pretty confident in what we can do.
Well, so I wanna bring this up just to show everybody. This is the motorcycle I was talking about at the beginning of this set, and I still every time I see this thing, it blows my mind. But dude, just looking through your pictures and looking at the detail, and even stuff like this, you know, as young as you are, like there is some old soul right there. Like
Isn't that Ness? Like that's a Ness
immediately
swing arm,
makes me look at or think about the old Ness swing arms and stuff. But still, you can see what you've done with it. You know.
Yeah. And that's somewhat what that was inspired by. I just did a Ness swing arm on that dirt bike. I actually sent you guys some photos of. If you look closely at the swing arm, it's very similar to a Ness, but it's extended like 2 inches. But yeah, I have a deep appreciation for history, for like hot rodding too, because I think there's a lot of like missing elements in motorcycles that you can take from hot rodding, just because there's more people who've hot rod like throughout the years, and there's a lot of really cool ideas in that. But yeah, I mean, pretty much history's a big thing for me. Arlen Ness, John Harmon. I like looking at old stuff. I have a large collection of old magazines. Just kind of going through there because like some of the stuff, it's funny. It's like new to me, and even going back to stuff that I've already seen, just to kind of get a little bit of inspiration from it.
Yeah.
But all that bike is a big. That represents a big appreciation for all the people before me who's done this.
Wow.
Where did you learn to weld?
Where did I learn to weld? Well, my dad taught me how to stick weld and MIG weld when I was a kid. My dad's he's a framer for a living, but he's kind of a jack of all trades. So he taught me how to paint too. But when I was probably like 22 or so, maybe 21, I needed to kind of figure out what I was going to do with my life. And my grandfather always welded. He actually used to build choppers back in the day. And just watching videos, you know, just being a motorcycle nerd. And I think welding was the one skill where I was like, that will get me the furthest, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
I you know, maybe mechanic would have been an option. But welding, you know, I think it was I watched a Jesse James video and he was gas welding a gas tank and he had these really cool sunglasses on.
That damn Jesse James strikes again.
Yeah, and he was shaping a tank on like his like power hammer, and then he took it to his planishing hammer. And I was like, well, I think, you know, I go to welding school and then the rest I can kind of figure out. But welding seems like the foundational skill that I'd probably need. So I actually ended up going to Manatee Technical College down here, and I got really lucky. My welding instructor, his name Andrew Francis, he was a bad dude. Like he was an aviation welder. He really liked me, and he kind of took me under his wing, and he taught me a lot of really cool just before even we were supposed to, he taught me how to weld stainless, titanium, and stuff like that. And just like, he taught me how to TIG weld a lot earlier than we were supposed to. And
so you had a little bit, you know, of a jump start and probably a natural inclination to pick it up, because you don't get that good without having some natural ability.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it's what I was meant to do. I really do. and I don't know if I'm ever going to make a living at it, but what I'm good at is motorcycle and hot rod fabrication, and just coming up with things, doing it with an angle grinder too. You know, I don't really have any fancy tools. It's mostly an angle grinder and a palm sander
You know
and a
what,
TIG
dude?
welder.
I was just gonna say this when you were talking about the stuff with hot rods. Is it seems like some of my favorite builders and the guys I'm most impressed with have that. Like Rick Bray is another perfect example of that. Like Rick builds, you know, rail frames and, you know, stuff for Baja trucks and shit like that. And when you go to Rick's shop, at first you're put back a little bit because you look around Rick's shop and it's like, God, I have more tools in my shop than Rick does. And I'm not replicating Johnny Chop's bike. You know what I mean? Like he's on a whole other level, and it doesn't matter if you gave a dude a hammer and a file, he would still be killing it. I love guys like that.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, I always look back and it's like, man, I wish I had because like when I'm in the fabrication shop, everything's way easier. But I really like the fact that I was like the way I was raised, and you know, I had enough tools. I was lucky I had a lot, but I didn't have I did it all the hard way to learn, and like a file to kind of make something. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't have a mill or a lathe. I made my wheel spacers on like my first two bikes with the cutoff wheel and a file and my calipers. Took forever, but
You know, I just recently started going to the file a lot faster than I go to like the flap grinder, flap wheel grinder, or like, you know, I'm appreciating that time and the way it feels. You can feel, you know, anybody that does that work that puts their hands on a file and works metal, you can feel when things are going right. You can feel where things are at, and like it's a whole other thing. It's a whole other level of appreciation of doing this stuff.
yeah, exactly. You know, the cool thing is a file will never lie to you. You know, flat is flat, and a file is not gonna it's not gonna cut edges unless you're using it wrong. But yeah, I mean, you can really shape anything with a file. It's just time. How much time do you have?
So Jeff Gilmore says that picture of the bike in the snow, Bad Company in Milwaukee, Mama Trad show, that was a great trip.
Yeah, yeah. Jeff's one of my dad's best friends. Actually, he was with us, and that was the first time I really ever like took that bike out, like to a show, like a
That
big
thing's badass,
show out
too, dude.
far.
Yeah, right.
Look at that
But
tail
I don't know if
section.
you know this. That's the shovel head that I just built.
Really?
I chopped that bike up. That was an FXR also, and you can see I chopped the back half off of it,
Yeah.
and I made like a removable subframe out of
that.
chromoly.
Damn.
And I don't know. That bike never really was what I wanted it to be. It's cool, but the shovel head wasn't right for it. It's like a really bad riding dirt bike, and that was my first bike I ever built. So like, I think the gas tank, I was always nervous because it's aluminum. I was always nervous. I knew the way I built it. I was nervous it was gonna bust. Just like certain things would fall apart on that bike. The exhaust was never truly right. I could have fixed it, but I think, you know, I just, that motor was really special to me. That was my first Harley motor. It was a big drag bike shovel head, and some guy put a lot of work in it. I had it apart, and it's got all sorts of cool stuff. And I wanted to build a really special bike around it, and didn't have money to start a new project, so a little bit easier to just chop one I already have.
Yes,
and
amen.
restart.
I love your appreciation of things, like looking at this that would be a simple intersection in frame,
Yeah.
in the frame. You know what I mean? And like, it's badass, man.
I feel like
That's
you're a
actually
very
the
old
taillight
soul.
housing right there in the
Right.
strut.
Right. That's so great.
And I love you just seem so happy talking about this. You can tell that like this passion was born into you because you're lighting up every time you talk about something that has to do with motorcycles.
Oh, I love it. And I love that you guys invited me out here because talking about motorcycles for a little bit.
Taking a break from
I'm
the
into it.
holiday. Right on.
So this makes me love/hate you just a little bit more. So he does obviously all his own sheet metal, but the paint pinstripe and upholstery. He does himself. Like,
Yeah.
how does a person as young as you have that much talent, that much vision? Like, I feel like you've got to be a very old soul.
I think that's just my grandfather was like that. My dad is too. They just, I don't know. Like I always wanted to be that guy. And you hear stories like Arlen Ness painted his bikes. I think he was more of a painter than anything else.
Damn right.
But he built
we
all
tell
the
that
stuff. He did it all. So
we
I want
tell
to be
that
the guy
story
who like
all the
walks
time.
into a room and walks out with a motorcycle out the other end. Out of nothing.
Here's a question: saying that your dad and your grandpa are both like this and both creative and have skills. Can you remember the first time, or was there a first time to talk about that either one of them came up to you and was like, really surprised and proud of something that you did, like that feeling?
Oh, well, my dad, I mean, I never really met my grandfather. He died like on my first birthday. And the cool thing was, the interesting thing was, he died like a couple weeks before my first birthday. And my dad put the Harley #1, the American flag #1, like the Evel Knievel looking one, on the my first birthday cake.
Oh.
And my grandfather, he had that on the side of his. I think you have the photo of it, that Sportster. And the cool thing was that was his dirt bike. But I have a bunch of photos where he has that, like, on him somehow, or like that was just. I think that was a very important symbol to him. And yeah, right there. Yeah, he was such a big dude. I think he would look so goofy on a normal dirt bike. He just rode that around.
Look at those mitts, dude. You don't want that cat getting a hold of you.
Yeah, I think you can actually see that rear tire. I think they told me it was a car tire, but it looks pretty aggressive.
Oh yeah.
My dad's got stories of him climbing hills out in Illinois. That's thing. But yeah, I mean, I think the first bike I did, I always talked about it, and I mean, about midway through the first bike, I think my dad he saw like I was pretty serious about it, and I don't know, he's been my biggest fan, and man, I love my dad. I love both my parents. I really lucked out with that.
That is so awesome.
And there's that shovelhead and bare metal there.
So good. So I have to say, I'm sorry they got to it first, but how cool was it for you to have that FXR on the cover of Hot Bike? What was that like for you?
I mean, I don't know if I can really describe it. That was an interesting feeling for a long time, because I mean,
it's Hot Bike.
All these magazines have kind of gone out. I mean, it's really just you guys, Hot Bike, and Easy Rider now. And I think Easy Rider still makes magazines. I'm not sure, and I hope you guys are all on good terms, because
we are. I mean, especially now, man. I mean, with the way things are, at least for us, we'll do anything to help any of them, and even anybody else, like the bunch of the young guys that came up over the last 15 years. We did our best to help them too, and say, hey, look, you're in for a rough ride. Hold on to your socks.
Hang on, y'all.
But we'll help anybody, because it's rough, man. It's rough. You gotta love this shit. You gotta love it to do this today.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, if anyone's gonna subscribe to a magazine, they probably just subscribe to all of them. So I don't think there's really but like what I was trying to say was, like, as a bike builder, the trophy. I mean, bike show trophies are cool, but being in a magazine's like, that's it. Being on a cover of a magazine is the coolest thing I think ever. So I mean, I really appreciate, like, you guys actually still holding up and people still making magazines, because like that's the biggest, and still in my mind, I think that is, and I don't think a lot of people get that. Like, that's why magazines are hugely important. And the cool thing is, actually, like, things like this is kind of like that next magazine feature. Like, it's being on this podcast.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff we're trying to do too. Like, we're, you know, and I say this all the time. I'm gonna do print until I die doing it. You know, no matter what it takes. If it's down to me and 12 of my friends, then I'm gonna print 13 magazines every month. I don't give a rat's ass. But like, even
He's not kidding.
if you heard us talking about Grease and Gears TV, this is one of our big hopes that we're holding out, because this is literally like the modern magazine, you know, and in it every month or every week we send out new bike features, you know, and it's just like we do in the magazine, but with this stuff you get to actually hear the builder talk about you don't want to hear it right now, but you get to hear the builder talk about their bikes and, you know, see it in real time like you're walking around. And I feel like that, though. We take the same approach as we do with magazine articles, and I hope that people understand that's why we do it. It's the heritage that comes along with all this. You know, I want it to be like that magazine feature, even for the young guys that don't know what that is.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, like I love that there's new outlets coming out, because for a little bit there, when I started building, really 2018, 2019, it was like it's all dying. And that kind of killed like the accomplishment factor for a lot of builders. Like, I mean, there are shows to build for, but all the magazines, it looked like they were going out. And Hot Bike was dead for a little while. Easy Rider died for a little while. I don't know if they're fully dead, but I don't think they printed for a period there until someone else bought them. But you know, having the content there, I think that's another outlet where we can strive to. It motivates us to like build bikes, you know, and it's cool building a bike for yourself just to have a motorcycle to ride, but I think if I was wanting to build like a crazy bike like that FXR again, which I don't know if I really want to, like, I think I'd have to have that extra motivational of like, and just the validation, really.
Well, and
validations is important, you know?
Here's the thing too, like it's cool when you build your first, second, third bike for yourself. When you get up to the 20th, 25th motorcycle, you definitely want to know that you got a shot at a magazine or something. Like you need that drive, especially if you're going to fight with your wife about parts money.
Yeah. Because I'll tell you, it took me a few bikes before I caught on to the fact that he's not actually going to sell it. Because that was the big line. I'm building this one to sell. I'm building this one to sell. After the second bike, I was like, oh, please. Don't even feed me that line.
Well.
I'm like that.
What was it? Arlen S. kept every bike he built.
Well, in the beginning, that was what I was going to say when you were talking about him being a painter. A lot of people didn't know that, like, his first, I forget, was it 3 or 4 motorcycles were the same bike. And he would go out and win a bunch of shows, and then he would take it home, take it all apart, put different stuff on it, paint it a different color, and take it back out to shows again. And I mean, that was the hustle, right? That was what he could afford to do.
Yeah, well, that's the big inspiration for the last bike I built. That was the Untouchable. Untouchable, like Harlan S's Untouchable, was his first bike. That I think it was his first motorcycle that he bought. And it was a Knucklehead, and then it was a Digger, and then it was a supercharged Knucklehead Digger. The evolution of that, and just seeing what it is now. I mean, you see photos of that bike, and it's like it's just holy. Like it's it's as bad as it gets. You know, it's just it's a special motorcycle.
So on top of magazines, you've had your work displayed at some really, really impressive shows too. I mean, I know you've been out to the TMMR, and you've had your bikes displayed alongside of some other great builders in some impressive spots.
Yeah, just being really lucky, man, meeting the right people. You know, I met Bill, and he invited me to TMMR. And Mama Tried was lucky enough to go out there. There used to be a lot of local shows down here. There was Southbound and Down. It was a pretty cool little chopper show. And then also Bike Week. Having Bike Week's been big, especially because we can just go out and, you know, it's not very far.
There's so much good stuff on here. You guys, we're gonna put the link up for his Instagram. I suggest setting some time aside before you go here. Don't do it as a bathroom trip, or you're gonna walk away with numb legs.
So
Hey, look at that one.
Yeah, that was a good day.
So real quick, I have to respond to Tomcat.
Oh.
He just said, he says, please let him build that FXRS y'all got for me just for you. Call me, we need to talk. And I told him, just so everybody knows, before you even got that bike home, I had my parts list and a plan.
No joke.
So it's gonna happen. We're working on a project right now, a super secret project.
No,
at the
listen,
moment.
super secret. I've already done a whole video about it that's everywhere. So this one,
The super secret project is before the Tomcat.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's coming up. The FXRS is gonna happen.
but this
I have
one,
a plan.
this one gets for her first custom motorcycle she's doing. She gets the first year FXR, OG, straight up.
Yep, I have a 1982 FXR that was very kindly gifted to me so I could build something cool. Oh, and it's gonna be so cool. I have a whole plan. Don't worry, Tom, I promise you will be proud.
See, now it's going to get easier to talk her into parts. Once I get her hooked on the bug, we're in, man.
Oh, when do I ever say no? Are you married, Kyle?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So you don't have to worry about
That's kind
that.
of why I get away with a lot.
Yeah, so you're good. The only one you have to make parts excuses to is yourself.
Yeah. I'm frugal though. I'm frugal.
That's not well, but being frugal makes you resourceful and creative, so that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I think so.
So what is it? Innovation is what's the
When preparation meets. Yeah, see.
Yeah, I totally
you got
lost
me
it.
there. It's too close
Totally
to the
lost
holidays
it.
for all that
I don't know the
talk.
second part either.
Yeah. I'm gonna think of it at 2:00 in the morning. And I'll be like, damn it, blah 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 blah. Oh, so good. You like the talent that you have is just great. And I'm looking at some of your mentors here. I love that you put Brock Bridges as a mentor because I think he's maybe a year or two older than you, if not the same age. But much like you, he has a day job.
Yeah.
And he does everything himself from start to finish. The fact that people as young as you are have that skill set and the desire to do it, it gives me so much hope.
Well, and especially too, like when you sit down and talk to either you or Brock, you know, like a lot of people might misunderstand that you guys are trying to get into a dick measuring contest. You want to do it all so you can say, I do everything on this. And it's not that. Like you can tell in 10 minutes of talking to either one of you guys that quest for learning things and, you know, you want to be able to do stuff. It's not about impressing anyone as much as it is the acquisition of the knowledge and you know, honing your craft. I love that.
Yeah, exactly. It's that challenge. But also, it's really expensive to have other people do
Right.
stuff. So.
Dude, that's what I just told Heather. This top secret project that we're doing requires a lot of parts that in chopper life I don't really do, like front brakes and shit like that. And I'm adding up the parts list the other day. I was like, son of a bitch.
He's like, I'm just gonna stick to choppers.
Yeah, I'm building
after
choppers
this
from
one.
now on. I'm not doing this.
Because on the choppers, like you said, you just make everything yourself. You go out and buy piles of tubing and some sheet metal and here, I can do it.
Yeah. My time's free.
So one of the things that I love that you're doing is you are filming your project, and you also did some documentation of your frame fabrication for the M8. I would love, if you're ever looking for a platform to share that stuff,
Oh yeah.
the fact that you want to share your knowledge and teach people how to do things and inspire them is outstanding. Kudos to you.
Well, I appreciate that. The big thing with that is I do want to show people that it is a lot of work, and I'm not trying to scare people from doing it. But a part of the process on that M8 FXR that's really challenging is like cutting the frame enough to get the motor just in there. And it's a lot. So I think I want to like state one that you want to be a pretty confident fabricator and pretty good with a cutoff wheel. And I mean, if you have torches or a plasma cutter, that is really the way to do it, because there are so many tubes inside of an FXR frame. It's not even funny. I mean, you got to cut through like 2.5 inches of it, I think, on the backbone, and there's like 2 tubes that intersect, and I mean, you have to. Yeah, it's so much cutting. But I think if I can like at least give people the starting measurements just to get the motor in there, and then they can slide the motor in, they can get the front motor mount done. It would just help people do it, because not a lot of people have done the MA FXRs yet, because it's hard. Like I'll be honest, it's a lot of work. You can twin cam swap in like 2 hours, but
No.
I mean, I'm 30 hours in on that frame. It's not fun.
No, and it never happens. It never happens like it used to on Biker Build Off. Like, it never happens like
It's
that.
done.
You know?
Yeah, they always talk about how like women had the unrealistic standard of like supermodels and the airbrushing and stuff. We were told that we can build a bike in 5 weeks.
Yep.
Or 5 days, whatever it was.
5 days, yeah.
You know what though? I think that's another thing too that comes with age a lot. You know, and guys like you and Brock are a little more advanced than most dudes your age, but a lot of that comes with age. Like I've learned my last few motorcycles, I've started to slow down on what I'm doing, and I enjoy the process. Like I told you about going back to the file first. You know, I wanna take my time and like and appreciate what it is that I'm doing more than I want to see the finished product anymore.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and I don't know if I like building motorcycles more at this point than riding them. And that's really sad, but I mean, I need to ride more. I've just been building a lot, and I hate it when I'm in the process, but every time I finish a bike, it's like I just want to be back in that. You have an appreciation afterwards.
Everybody has mid-bike build blues. That is
Yep.
an actual diagnosis. It is a real thing where you're just at that spot where you're like, okay, I just need to be done with this.
Yeah, what's your trick? What's your trick for mid build blues?
I haven't figured it out yet. I think though I'm gonna. It's probably the opposite of what you're saying. I'm with the next bike I've been doing, that Sportster dirt bike. I'm doing a little bit dirtier fabrication, a lot of easier stuff, a lot simpler stuff, trying to like narrow it down and not go so complicated. And someday I do want to build another bike like that Shovelhead again. It's just that was 2.5 years of my life.
Right.
And I don't really know how much faster I can do it now. Like it just took as much time as it did. I mean, a lot of it was learning, and it would definitely be faster because there's a lot of things that I learned and did on it. But I'm trying to actually learn how to build bikes and kind of have more fun with it. That's the Sportster dirt bike's kind of doing it for me right now.
Nice.
It's just fun, and I'm looking forward to riding the motorcycle afterwards. You know, and actually having fun on a motorcycle, building a motorcycle that is just purely like a fun haver machine.
Okay, so I gotta know. I'm
What the
trolling.
heck?
I'm trolling your social media, and I keep seeing this car come up all over the place.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
So
explain.
yeah, what's there has to be some kind of story, right?
So my dad, I would say my dad's like the Forrest Gump of hot rodding.
Okay.
He actually rescued that car. He when I was like a kid too. And that's one of the things I kind of fell in love with, was that car and the story behind this guy who originally built this car. So kind of a backstory, how my dad had discovered that was he used to work for this company as a super, and he basically had to go down to the Keys to redo a bunch of houses and like Marathon or something. And he met this guy during his time there, this kid who was wanting to buy this Polara, and my dad always wore those like cool, really cool like Mopar shirts and stuff. And the kid knew a bit about Mopars, and asked if he could come and look at the car. Well, on their way there, the kid was like, yeah, they have like race cars there. So my dad was like, oh, it's probably like a dirt track car, you know, kind of Florida stuff. And lo and behold, when they lifted up the garage doors, that car was in there, and there's two 426 Hemis. Like another, it was like a 400 race block, like it was with a 440 crank, it was like 451 stroker, I think.
Is Brian still in this building somewhere? He would be losing his mind.
But now that car, it was his sons selling the car. Well, they were selling the Polara, and my dad started asking him about this car, and my dad chased it. He chased the car down, and these kids didn't really. It was their dad's race car, and I don't know if they like really knew what it was, or they knew what it was, but they didn't really like have that appreciation for it. So they let it go. I think my dad traded. He had a '69 like Chevy 4x4 truck. It was a really nice truck. He traded that, and I think my mom's 4-wheeler, and brought that car home. But then we started like digging up the story behind that car. It's super interesting. So he raced out in the Northeast, like Pennsylvania, Atco, Cecil County. We have a lot of like documentation with it. And the guy's name was Russ Branyan. And the whole story's funny. I posted it on Jalopy Journal, and like it was like months later, this lady hit me up, and she apparently was the niece of Russ Branyan. And her dad was his brother, I think, and we started talking to him. Now, Russ was I think he was an insurance salesman, but he wanted to race cars, and he convinced his brother to buy a '67 Belvedere with a Hemi, I think, and that motor ended up in that car. But it's just a cool story. This guy, like, you look at the frame, it's all gas welded. It's super thin, so I'm assuming it's chrome ollie. And this guy, it still has the road grime on the frame. Like he rode it on, like, asphalt, like, streets and stuff. But
that's great. When I first started looking at it, I thought it was an Opel. I had a...
No, it's a Kellison. It's a Kellison.
Sick.
I think it's a Kellison J4R body. They made fiberglass. The crazy thing is that is a 1959 body. So when you think about that, like think of what a 1959 Corvette looked like.
Wow.
Like that's very ahead of its time.
Yeah, I thought it was an Opel too, actually. So.
Yeah, I love that. I love stuff with stories.
Yeah, there's my father right there.
I love stuff with stories, man. As someone on here made the comment, that's like finding a gold mine with gold in it.
Right.
Kieran said that.
He's just around the right places at the right times. I think I am too with motorcycles. I mean, I think you just go out and you meet people, and then you run across stuff like that, or you get like these cool little opportunities.
So good.
Yeah, buddy. Well, listen, it's been a real pleasure having you on with us tonight, man, and I appreciate you taking time out of your holidays. But anytime you have something new that comes out, or you're going to be somewhere, we definitely want to get hooked up with you.
Yeah, I get first dibs on your next bike, damn it. I'm calling it now in front of God and everybody. I'm just saying. Love you, Hot Bike, but
move over.
Move over.
I appreciate that.
Oh, so good. But I really meant what I said. I know you're documenting a lot of stuff. You're filming it and all of that. We would love to help you share some of that. Whether it be in print, video, but make sure you reach out to Chris or I. And
even like think about it, when we put stuff on Grease and Gears TV, it doesn't all have to be exclusive to Grease and Gears TV. So even if it's stuff you're doing on your YouTube outlet, whatever, this gives people the ability to watch that stuff through their television, and we'd love to do it for you.
Yeah, right on, man. I'm still working the kinks out. I'm not much of a videographer, but I'm figuring it out. And I'm going to have some stuff pretty soon here. And it's just, I think that's like another outlet out. And I appreciate you guys for having like a place to actually showcase that.
Yes, sir. Right. We're going to put the links up to all your stuff. Make sure people get out and follow you on social media. But you take care until we get out and see you.
Hopefully we'll see you in Daytona.
In Daytona, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll be out there.
All right, buddy.
Right
but I appreciate the talk.
You have a good New Year's.
You guys have a good New Year's, too.
Happy New Year. So good. So good. So good that he's so young and so inspired
I
and
know.
just wants to do motorcycle things. And the talent level is ridiculous. Did you see those welds?
And what I love too is like the realism about all of it. You know what I mean? Like, how many guys have we seen in the history of the magazine that come up and as soon as they start getting a little flame, they're like, you know, this is, you know, I've set out to achieve blah blah blah, and he's just like, hey man, this is what I do. You know?
Like, yeah, he just wants to make machines. Like, like what he sees in his head, he just wants to make real.
So, hey, Heather's going to put the links up, but get out and check him out on social media. Make sure you're following him on Facebook and Instagram. And the very next chance that we have to bring more of his beautiful work out, we're sure going to. We have a cool feature bike to look at. When we come back on the other side, Heather's going to do the news. We're going to do a little salutation for the new year. We're going to cut you guys loose. But for now, you are watching Shop Talk on the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio Network. Don't go anywhere.
Out of Focus is brought to you by Garage Build. Submit your build, share your passion. Powered by Dennis Kirk.
My name is Shelton Enerwald, and this is my 91 FXRT named Kaizen. Kaizen is a Japanese term meaning something along the lines of constant improvement, always trying to change for the better, and that was the whole idea for what I wanted this bike to be. I wanted to take an FXR and bring it into today's world. So I got this bike a couple years ago, and it was a pieced together weird cluster of I don't know. Tore it apart, built it all back up, and the idea was to ride it to Sturgis. Turns out a motor to transmission case bolt broke, which was causing the primary bolts to pop out. Got that fixed, and then found out the case was cracked. Yeah, it was not an oil leak, it was an oil spill. To rebuild a like Harley 80-inch Evo, I priced that versus just buying a S&S crate motor, and to me it just made way more sense to go crate motor. So that led to deciding to just do a full build after making a road trip with Brian to the East Coast. That still leaks oil. After thinking about it, I kind of sided with him and we decided to do a full build. And that was about the time where CycleSource announced the garage build off for Smokeout Rally. So I applied for it. You guys picked me as one of the builders, so that gave me a deadline to finish this bike. I had the idea of what I wanted this bike to look like and started gathering all the pieces and parts, stripped the frame down, did all the modifications to the frame that I wanted, which is a lot of time in smoothing every weld on this frame. So you don't see a weld, everything's nice, smooth, and looks like it's all one piece. Tony at Ramjet makes a twin cam conversion kit, so I cut the crossmember out, put that crossmember in to swap to the Dyna mid-control mounts and Dyna kickstand to get rid of the uneven foot problem that FXRs have, because it always seems like no matter what exhaust you're running, the right foot's always a little bit higher, and once you notice it, it's super annoying. So the vision for this bike was a custom bike, but it doesn't look custom. Like, everything's in the details, and I wanted it to look as close to a stock FXR as possible. Ramjet makes a brake adapters to run the touring Brembos to help stop a little bit. I've ran 13-spoke Harley wheels, which I found out are slightly wider than a 9-spoke. So when I went to go bolt it in, rotors didn't line up, they hit the fork, so I had to chuck it up in a lathe, turn down 3/16 of an inch on either side for the hub face to bring the rotors in so everything lined up. Clockworks front fender that I made my own cut profile to make it kind of go with the lines of the bike. GP suspension in the front end with Pro 1 trees and fork tubes, because the main goal of this bike was to be performance, super fun to ride, and if you're going fast, you need to stop better. So Lindahl is the only people that make a 13-spoke rotor, so I had to run those on here to help with the stopping power. The other thing with this bike is I initially planned on just throwing a Mikuni 45 carb on. I was kept reminded of this bike I seen at Born Free last year. Guy walks over to his FXR, hits a button, it fires up. I'm like, that's not normal. So I went over and talked to him. Turns out he was running a V111, but it was fuel injected. So I reached out to HPI and Jimmy Lights, like, I've done it. I know what you need, and I'll make a manifold for you. I was like, well, I want a manifold, a throttle body, injectors. I want all your stuff to be the inlet to the motor. This little guy on the dash was a Brian Clock special that he asked Jeremy to do. And people are wondering, why is there a chicken on your dash? Well, I somehow got the name of Chick-a-Day at work. So it is a chicken just checking off the days for a different chick every day. So we got smoke out, set the bike up, and did all the things everyone's talking about, the paint job and this and that. I have no expectations of winning, and I was actually rooting for someone else's bike. And all of a sudden I hear my name, and Chris is like, said something along the lines of, now we have to kiss his ass and something, and I don't know, but it made me laugh. I jump up there, and it was a very cool, surreal moment, because I grew up watching Monster Garage, Biker Build Off, American Chopper, Power Block TV, and all that stuff, and being a 12 to 13-year-old kid watching that stuff is like, it'd be cool to do that one day. So having all that come to fruition in that moment at Smokeout was one of the coolest things ever. I am Shelton Enerwald from Mitchell, South Dakota, and you are watching Grease and Gears TV.
Whether riding takes you from A to B or just lets you escape, there's a flow to the road you share, so go with it. Eyes open, and always have the Law Tigers by your side. If you've been injured in a motorcycle accident, visit us at lawtigers.com. Law Tigers, America's motorcycle lawyers.
I'm Brian Clock from Clockworks in Mitchell, South Dakota, and you're watching Shop Talk.
Everything we do at the track shapes what we build for the street and the dirt.
You can see how bad these guys want it. A race to the line.
For us, racing is not for the trophies or the glory. We compete because it makes everything we do faster, more durable, and tested to a higher standard. For S&S, racing is the ultimate in proven performance, and we've been proving it since 1958.
Okay, welcome back to the Dennis Kirk studio, and we are rocking through the show tonight. Appreciate you guys being here with us and all of the love that everybody's putting up right now. It means so much to both of us, all three of us when Mark is here, but like I said, the power went out at his place tonight. But
he probably kicked the cord out of the socket. Come on, it's Mark.
No, Mark loves doing Shop Talk.
I know he does.
Plus, when he's not here, I only get to I only get to be half a wise ass like I normally am because he
Oh, what a
instigates me.
shame.
I know, right? But it means the world to us that you guys love what we do with this show, and we're working every week to try to make it better and bring you more stuff and be better representatives of what's going on in the world of custom motorcycles today. So stick with us. We promise it'll get better.
It'll get better.
Now, do you
Hey,
know?
what do you expect? Like, we're on time now. What more do you want?
We're on time. We usually don't crash the show anymore.
It's amazing.
But you know what time it is right now, Heather?
I was going to say the news. Events? Are we
It's
doing events?
events.
Ooh, let's see if I can get
ShopTalk
it
is
right.
brought to you by Cyclefish. Cyclefish, the most complete list of motorcycle events in the U.S.
Lone Star Swap Meet, largest indoor motorcycle swap meet in Texas, January 11th and 12th, 2025. And Fair Park, Dallas, inside the Food and Fiber Pavilion.
Yeah.
Get in on that. I'm sad and happy at the same time that we are not there because my checkbook can't afford him. That very same weekend, on the West Coast, Parts and Labor Custom Motorcycle Expo at the Del Mar Fairgrounds.
Del Mar
in San Diego, California. You can get more information at partsandlaborexpo.com. Saturday, February 1st, Carolina's Full Throttle Magazine Custom Bike Show 2025. That is in Greensboro. I was going to say Greenville.
You need
That's
to
in
say
New
it.
Hampshire.
Greensboro.
That's what I said.
No, you didn't, East Coast.
What did I say?
You said Greensboro. You sounded like your mother.
Greens. No, I put an R in there.
Heather, are you going to Greensboro?
Greensboro. You can get more information at fullthrottlemagazine.com. There's going to be a Perowitz paint show, $12,000 in cash and prizes. It sounds like a good time. The following week, who needs sport ball when you have Cycle Showcase St. Louis, February 8th and 9th, 2025, and that is going to be at the City Foundry. Again, that same weekend, Chopper Fest on the West Coast at Ventura County Fairgrounds, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., chopperfestival.com. I'm really bummed about this one.
Why?
I wanted to go this year.
Well,
but we're going to be very far away. Anyway, February 21st, 2025 at the Pfizer Forum, Flat Out Friday for indoor flat track racing to kick off a Mama Tried weekend.
look at you go, little buddy. You said Pfizer
I
Forum like
I
it.
am the tiny acorn. Mama Tried Motorcycle Show in beautiful Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the Eagles Ballroom. Somebody please go to the Iron Horse Hotel and have brunch for me, along with the mimosas.
Hey, Kieran McGarry, January 31st for February 2nd, IMS in Atlantic City, New Jersey. We're showing bikes and competing in sound off. Listen,
At the IMS show?
I know,
There's an
well,
IMS show? Tell me.
Kieran, tell me, is that where the IMS used to be, or
Is that like the International Motorcycle Show?
what's going on with that?
Yeah, explain yourself.
But here's the, here's the deal with that. If you have an event, you can get it on this show. We do all this
Just send it to me.
to pass it along. So make sure you send us an email it out to Heather, and she'll get your event posted, and we'll bring it up on the show.
Right. Coming into March, Chopper Time, greatest chopper show on earth.
Can I get an
And it is
amen?
only choppers and antique vintage. If you have a bagger, you can park around back. I'm just saying, not that we don't appreciate all two wheels. This is just not the show for them. Thursday, March 6th, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Tropical Tattoo. Be there or be a loser. I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. Donnie Smith Bike Show and Swap Meet, the Midwest Extravaganza at the St. Paul River Center, March 29th through 30th, 2025. We'll be there. You should be too. Go ahead.
Born Free.
Oh, put this the last one of the
It's
year.
the last
put some
show.
feeling
Born
into it.
Free.
There you go. June 21st and 22nd, 2025 in Silverado, California. You can get more information at bornfreemotorcycleshow.com. Save the date for Smokeout 2025, September 4th through 7th. Get your outhouses shined up and your bike sturdy, and it's going to be a damn good time.
I love it. I love it. All right, man. So this is bringing us to the final statement of the final show of the year. We're all going to take a big, deep breath together and say goodbye to 2024.
Say goodbye to all the bullshit.
And here's hoping that everyone is safe, happy, healthy coming into the new year. I hope you celebrate it with somebody that you love, or at least somebody that you trust that can keep a secret. And
or that has bail money.
Or money for parts.
Yeah. Bail money, parts money.
So the next time we see you guys, this will be the new year. And until then, we I know it's not the same without Mark here, is it, Radar? It's killing me. Dennis Kirk is having a garage build something at Donnie Smith again.
Okay.
Chasing threads on the Smokeout bike now. All right, so listen, until next time when we come back in the year 2025 with an all-new show of Shop Talk. Same chopper time.
Same chopper channel. Do you know who we're kicking 2025 off with?
Who?
Corey Souza.
Oh, my God.
First show of the new year, Corey Souza. Are you ready?
Becky says she's got it for Mark. Read what she said.
Bye, Felicia.
Happy New Year, Felicia. Happy New Year.